How y'all doing? I'm Paul Ryan, your host of the Across the Cowboys podcast. If you're new to the show, thank you for joining us. And to our regular listeners, welcome back. With me, as always, is my co-host, the greatest co-host in the world, Mike The Pig Crum. Mike, how are you?
I'm doing great, man. One, just like all of us expected, stepped up. We all picked Dallas to blow out Cincinnati, and Cincinnati kept it close, but whatever. We got the win. We were up big, and then we let our foot off the throttle because we knew we had them. Cincinnati, Cooper Rush, come on, dude.
Hey, man, that Super Bowl hangover is looking like a real thing, Mike.
Yeah, it is. 1 second, because this construction is driving me nuts. I'm going to shut my windows.
We want you guys to no distractions during the show tonight, guys. Sorry for the dead air there, but yeah, we don't want you guys to have any distractions, Mike. We appreciate you taking care of that before it's a problem.
Yeah, I could still hear it, but it was like loud. Like it was like people would be like, "Damn, what is going on out there?" They're taking down a wall we have and expanding it out next door so they could fit. They like run one of those things with the inflatable bounce houses and stuff like that, and so they're moving the wall over so they could fit their trailer in there. They have the bull riding stuff and all that. It's crazy.
Oh, wow. Yeah, well, we appreciate that, Mike. I will admit I didn't hear any noise, but I'm glad that you prevented that from happening anyway.
It was driving me nuts. I was like, why didn't I shut the windows before I start? The TV was on. I'm listening to it. And the minute that volume goes down on everything, I'm like, damn it, I don't want to hear that this whole time.
Well, Mike, before we get into our discussion tonight, let the people know where they can find you on Twitter.
At CD Piglet, guys. Nice and easy.
Guys, I'm Paul Ryan. You can find me on Twitter at Paul_Ryan15. Well, Mike, we missed it last week. However, my personal favorite topic we get to discuss tonight, of course, I'm referring to Meatless Monday. Mike, what was on the menu today?
Pretty blah. I ate at Daphne's. I had a long shift today, so I had to have lunch there. I also had low blood sugar, so I had to have breakfast like 3 a.m. I got up and my sugars were 58, unfortunately. So I ate then, got to work. I had some falafel and spanakopita at Daphne's. And then tonight after I worked out, I had a glucose drink and one of my banana dark chocolate, one of these things. See, free advertising.
Like Watcher things or
Kind breakfast
bars. Okay.
Bars.
Those are good, bro. Kind bars. I've never
had
had the breakfast bar, but the regular snack bars are good.
They're really good. You just got to get them when they're on sale. Like if you can get them for $1.25 or less, snatch up the coconut dark almond or almond dark chocolate, the coconut almond on its own, the cherry dark chocolate. I like all of those. That Kind's got some good ones.
And shout out to our guy Frankie Kenneth. Yeah, a victory Monday. Hashtag Paul and the Pig. Frankie, it feels good, man. A victory on a Mondays always feel sweeter after a victory, my friend. I hope all is well.
I tweeted that out. I tweeted that out too. I was like, it's amazing the difference a week makes.
Oh my goodness, yeah, no doubt, Mike. So you said you had when you wake up and you have not an episode, but your blood sugar's low. The reason there's a reason I'm asking this, but your snack of choice, is it one of those Kind bars, or do you have peanut butter crackers on hand, or what is it you do in a hurry like that? I guess.
In this situation, I have these Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I'm not it's an okay cereal, but they had this cinnamon graham cracker toast crunch. It was like a twist on it. And I really, I like the taste of graham cracker a lot. So I tried it out. And so I had that. Typically I have MB apples or bananas that I'll have every once in a while. If it's a bad episode, if I have an ice cream, I'll have some a half a thing of ice cream, to build them up. But it's the worst because it just kills your sleep. You slept 2 hours and you get up with low blood sugar. It takes you about an hour to fix it. And then another 30 minutes to go to sleep. And then you sleep another couple hours and you're up, getting ready for work. And it's suck. I hate it so much.
It's funny you mentioned the MV apples, Mike, because I was at the store over the weekend and I was buying apples because we didn't have any fruit. And I was like, Mike's always talks about an apple that I don't think I've ever had, and I was looking for it. I found the ambrosia apples, the I can't think of There's like a not the Granny Smith, but there's like a golden crisp or something like that. And I was like, man, none of these sound like the ones that he was always talking about. So yeah, I'm gonna have to make sure to try this if I haven't already tried it. But the reason I was asking about your snacks for your low blood sugar is because I grew up with a girl. Shout out to my girl Holly Gail Grimes. She's not listening, I'm sure, but if she is, I love you, buddy. She's a diabetic as well. And so like when we were in kindergarten, we went from kindergarten all the way to high school together. But like when we were in kindergarten, we had the same class. And every so often she like bust out with these snacks. They're like always peanut butter crackers. And I would always be like, can I have some? And she's like, no, I have to eat these because I'm going to get sick. And I'd always just like make her share her snacks with me. So it made me wonder if like what your snacks were. Because every time I hear about somebody being a diabetic and they have to have a snack to raise their blood sugar, it always makes me think of her and her peanut butter crackers.
A little peanut butter. I had a peanut butter Ritz cracker sandwich today. My boss and best friend had to feed it to me. We were like, "Oh God,
what in the world?"
I was cutting the meat for the kebabs, and so my gloves are, I can't pick the friggin' cracker up and eat it. This guy comes up to me and he's like, "Do you want a cracker?" So I'm assuming he sees me with the red knife and the gloves and the piece of meat in front of me, and he's like, "You want a cracker?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, sure." And he's like, "Oh man, this is gonna be look so bad on the camera." And he's all, I'm like, "Well, why'd you offer me it then? Obviously, I can't get it with the friggin' raw meat all over my gloves and eat the damn thing." So yeah, that was early, like 9 a.m. That guy was all hungry for his Ritz crackers with peanut butter.
That's a true friend right there. One that'll feed you, man, when your hands are busy.
He was not happy about it. I'm like, "You offered? Shit, what's the matter with you? Why are you mad at me for? You see me?"
For a second, I thought you were saying that you made a peanut butter sandwich like with Ritz crackers in it, which I was like, that actually sounds good.
No, I haven't.
But I want to add jelly to that, but get a nice crunch from the Ritz cracker because growing up, I used to eat Ritz crackers with peanut butter and jelly all the time, dude. I love Ritz crackers and peanut butter.
Doritos, dude. Peanut butter and jelly sandwich with Doritos.
Oh, dude.
Fire.
That was like my lunch in elementary, bro.
Bro, so
that was
good.
A good day at lunch. Yeah.
Yes, elementary. That's when I did that. Not like last week. No, I haven't ate a peanut butter and jelly sandwich in years, but yeah, maybe I'll do that. That sounds good. Peanut butter, grape jelly, and some Doritos. That's what sounds good right now.
You mentioned the peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I'm trying to remember if I don't think either one of us had the PB&J on our top 5 sandwiches.
No, I know I didn't. Shit, I haven't had one in so long. And then the sandwiches I make, so bougie, dude. There's no way a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It would be like putting a Red Baron up in your top pizzas.
Dude, Papa Murphy's is not that much different than Red Baron, bro. No disrespect to Papa Murphy's. I love Papa Murphy's, but it's maybe one tier above, dude.
Oh, man. All right, I'm going to let you get away with that so we can talk some football. Go Cowboys.
Yeah, here we are, Mike, and you sent some questions in for the show sheet, so I'm excited to hear about this first question we have here, and it's about your guy, Quiet Bro Crum, a.k.a. Mitch Crum, little brother. Is he a prophet, Mike?
Dude, I feel like he is because this fool told me for like 3 days, if you got a fantasy thing, you should pick up Noah Brown. And I'm like, ha, ha, ha. And he's like tongue in cheek, but he's also like, I don't know, bro. Like they spent 6 years on the scout team and backups playing together. Like Cooper Rush going to look for Noah Brown. Like for real. Like he may not be a bad guy to play in fantasy if you're looking at your team and like there's questionable guys early and you don't know, like I have George Pickens in one and he's not really getting play. And you have rookies that you're hoping break out that you took late. And you're like, he is like, man, no one knows he's going to have Noah Brown, dude. You can just pick him up. Noah Brown in a standard PPR put up 20 points, 5 catches, 5 targets, 91 yards, and a touchdown. So, and he was right. Like every big play, third down, conversion.
He converted the 3rd and 10.
The touchdown. Like,
he had to go up and get that ball, dude. That touchdown. That was a good grab, bro. Yeah.
And so, Mitch kind of was the prophet on that one. So I want to make sure to give him credit because in my article, I'm like, these guys went up together. One was drafted in the 7th round of 2017. One was undrafted. They built up together. And I was sitting there going, man, I'm basically stealing my brother's material for my article because he was the one going, and they've been on the second team together for like 5-6 years, right? And I was like, yeah, maybe, but the offense looked so bad. The game plan was so bad. The offensive line was bad. The receivers couldn't get open that you're like, I got to see it first.
Oh, yeah.
And after week one, after week two, and you see what the Bucks did to the Saints offense, and you're like, okay, well, maybe Bucks are just really, really good. Not that
seriously, yeah.
Not that like I'm afraid to play him again, or that I don't think Dak would have a better game, or like if we had Gallup and Tyron Smith, it wouldn't be different. But that their defense is really top notch, and their head coach now is defense first, being the old defensive coordinator. So they're kind of built around, hey, we're protecting this defense, and we're not going to turn the ball over. We're going to win with our defense. And they've done it 2 straight weeks. They beat our ass, and they whooped on the Saints, who Tom Brady hadn't beaten to that point. So, maybe it was just a really, really, really great Tampa Bay defense and an offense that hadn't really played together in live game action. So, that kind of stuff happens.
Yeah, thinking about Noah Brown, I mean, I mentioned he had some big plays that he, the big 3rd and 10, of course, the touchdown there. But I was even hesitant, we're talking about fantasy, to start CeeDee Lamb. But, of course, depending on your roster and everything, you can never really sit a guy like that. But in fantasy, anything can happen. And when a guy's getting like 10 or so targets, and then you kind of think about it, it's like, well, there's a good chance this could be a shootout where the Cowboys are playing catch up, and Noah Brown he's the number 2 wide receiver. So, I mean, there's a chance he could do something. And, shout out to Mitch for making the call.
Profit, man. He nailed that one. Noah Brown, 20 points. Anybody that was playing Noah Brown was pretty ecstatic. I know that.
Absolutely. Well, Mike, was it Noah Brown's fantasy day of 20 points, or was there something else that surprised you the most this week?
Bengals' inability to hit big plays. Like that, Jamar Chase is a big play machine. They got Boyd and Higgins, and Hurst looks like an improvement at tight end. And I get the offensive lines gelling together, but even against Steelers, they hit some. Like I think they
weren't even really taking shots down the field, dude. Sorry to cut you off.
No, not at all. Shit, I do it all the time. I'm the talker here. You got to get your words in where you can, man.
Yeah.
Their biggest play, I think, was 19 yards, if I remember right. Like 19 yards. The Bengals, they had 100. If you take away the yards for sacks, they had 165 yards passing. 199 just with, even if you include the sack yardage isn't taken out, they didn't even hit 200. Like that pass rush is doing something. Yeah. And the back end's not bad. Like it's crazy. I could have easily said my most surprising thing was Donovan Wilson. Like, everybody knows that's my guy. I only fell off on him because he couldn't stay healthy. But I mean, you didn't even miss Jaron Kearse, and he was a green dot. And the defense didn't miss a beat. I think Donovan Wilson missed 1 tackle up there, which Jaron Kearse doesn't miss any. So, that is a difference. But, I mean, he was all over the place.
Wilson was. Yeah.
He covered well. Again, Kearse is better. I'm not even going there. Kearse is a damn good player. He was a top 5 safety last year. But Quinn has a thing with safeties, because even when Mukwamu came in, he made plays. Like he was around the ball. Like he has that group of safeties playing their ass off, and it lessens the hurt of losing Jaron Kearse.
This is what surprised me the most, but this was something that surprised me. It's that the Cowboys came out and they kind of just hit the Bengals right in the mouth, and I think it caught them off guard. And we saw that they couldn't stop our offense, but we saw them start to, move the ball on us in the second half. But I'm just surprised that they didn't really test Anthony Brown, or Trevon Diggs, because we know the comments that Jamar Chase made, of course, that were taken out of context. But, they didn't try to challenge him at all with Jamar Chase, and they didn't really, again, like I said, challenge Anthony Brown with T. Higgins, and they didn't even really try to eat up the middle of the field with Tyler Boyd either. It was kind of, they started to be effective running the ball with Joe Mixon, but they played really kind of almost scared.
Yeah, I think they are afraid to get their quarterback killed. Our pass rush is lethal.
Yeah.
And they just look great. And you got one of those guys on your defense that just Tank, we've always said, he got a big payday and it wasn't about the sacks. Like he's still to this day an elite run stopper. And if he's healthy, he's a great player. But you see the difference when people say, like, well, one of those guys that makes
Every
everyone
play.
better, like
Oh yeah.
Micah Parsons is that type of guy.
Yeah. But going back to the question, Mike, what surprised me most this week, it was our ability to move so efficient in the first half with our offense. I mean, how efficient and effective it was in the first half. That's really what surprised me, just because we saw what happened against Tampa Bay. I know that's a different team, especially on defense, but that really just kind of caught me off guard, because I was not expecting anything at all from Cooper Rush on the offense. But kudos to them for proving me wrong.
Absolutely. And we're going to get into the biggest differences. So I'm not going to go into it, but into the next question, I'll kind of play towards what you were talking about right there.
Yeah. Well, Mike, let's just get into it. The most significant difference between week 1 and week 2.
The matchup.
Yeah.
I think if you look at it, they, even from a standpoint of Kellen Moore and Dak Prescott, they played a little scared. The game plan was a little scared. They were scared of Tampa Bay's defense and how it would work against our O-line, how it would work against our receiving core. Their zones were so much better, the way they played their zone defense. On the all-22, their linebacker core just is elite coverage guys. They're just great. And it's just a different level when you go to Cincinnati. They don't have the same level of defensive line. DJ Reader is as good as any D tackle. He's very good. He pushed Farniak around a little bit. They did a good job of matching that up, and DJ Reader was really impactful.
Yeah.
But minus that, they didn't have the linebacker to cover the zones like Tampa did. There was more confidence, and you could see it in the way Kellen Moore called plays. It's just it was different, and it just is what it is. Sometimes matchups make fights, and when you look on both sides of the ball, the way we were able to get at that offensive line and Joe Burrow, and he's more of a hold the ball guy than Tom Brady is, so you were able to affect him more and make plays defensively. And then on the other end, we had more confidence to open up the offense against Bengals defense than we did against Tampa's.
Yeah. I'd like to say that I was surprised by Joe Burrow in the second half, for him to pull it all together after getting just destroyed all game, and to get his team tied up in the game. That was impressive.
He's going to be incredible. He's one of there's very few guys that you ask, like, hey, in a vacuum, you want Dak Prescott or some other guy? And Burrow, Herbert, Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, I believe those would be in that group that I would be like, yeah, these guys, I would probably suck it up and take them if you made me. Josh Allen's looking in that range too. I want to see it a little bit more, but
yeah.
Joe Burrow's a stud, dude. He elevates. He causes a lot of sacks with the way he moves, the way he holds the ball, the way Wentz did back in the day. But man, he's really good. He's one of those guys, you're in the game if you got him behind center.
Yeah, I mean, you're confident that at any deficit that he can find a way to get you right back in the game. But to answer the question, Mike, like you, it's a level of competition, man. I mean, you said it perfectly. You talked about the defensive line, the secondary. Their defensive line did make some plays, but their defense as a whole is nothing close to what Tampa Bay has.
Agreed. See, look at that. Hey, we matched one.
Hey, if you're agreeing with me, Mike, I'm feeling pretty good. So, why do you believe the game plan looks so drastically different from game to game, and sometimes even half to half, Mike?
I feel like someone's in Moore's ear. I don't see how you could have that game plan that they had, and like with the motions and the sweeps and the deep shots that he missed Lamb open on a deep shot, it just, and then like the game before was just, I get Tampa Bay, you were afraid, but even this game in the second half, they were just, it's like at halftime they went in and said, hey, look, we're up 17-3, the defense is playing good. Let's go back to run the ball up the middle for 2 plays on first and second down, and then try to get third down conversion. Like that
was super frustrating, dude.
Yeah, it is, because I understand you don't want Cooper Rush to give up the game, but like he's been playing well. Like you could do something. Like where's the sweeps? Where if you're gonna run Zeke up the middle for 2 yards at DJ Reader versus Farniok and Biotish, who surprisingly has been pretty good through 2 games. I mean, I can't complain about how he's played. But like, I don't get that. Like, if you're going to do that, run wide to Zach Martin and Steele's side. Steele's been good running the ball. I don't know. It feels like somebody's like, all right, let's calm down. You know what I mean? Let's go back. And then the minute they kicked a couple field goals and it got closer, they started opening up again. And then Schultz, of course, fumbles, but they were driving down the field. I think he fumbled on like the 30-yard line. They were in field goal range right there. So it felt like when the game plan was going, Cooper Rush or whoever was good. And then when the game plan's bad, not even Dak could do much. Like he was throwing into triple coverage to Lamb. It felt like 5-6 times.
Mm-hmm. Well, remember last year after the San Francisco game, shout out to Mike White, not to be tried. Is it still burgers and blintzes or not to be tried now?
I think it's not to be tried.
I remember he said that, somebody had told him that Stephen Jones was kind of in Kellen Moore's ear talking about, simplifying the offense, kind of saving stuff for the playoffs, in his ear, trying to tell him what to do. And apparently, was it you that you said that that Jerry Jones and Steven are like in the meeting room for game plans and stuff, dude?
That was out also before this game. That was brought up about Steven Jones was talking about it and talking about in the meetings we go through and dude, why are you two in the meetings? Get out of what'd you hire the coaches for?
Right.
Get out of there. You even if you're a good GM, which neither of them are, but if they were a good GM, why are you in the meetings? Even if you're a good GM, you're doing your job, you're signing free agents or whatever, get the hell out of the meetings. Let the coaches do their job.
Yeah, and Kellen Moore doesn't strike me as somebody who's going to he strikes me as a timid person where if his boss is telling him what to do, then he's just going to follow the rules and not not to cause any problems, to avoid any and all confrontation. You know what I mean?
100%. And until this last press conference before the game with Mike McCarthy, he's been the same way. And then Mike McCarthy came out and was like, shots firing before the game.
Yeah.
But he knows the job's on the line. But now with a win, and speaking of press conferences, Jerry can miss me with, what's your score prediction? What was your fuck off, dude? You did a shitty job this year. And because you won one game, don't come out there like you did something. Shut up. Like he was one of my favorite people. I loved his interview. I can't stand hearing him now. Him and his son, just I don't even want to hear it. And the only reason I know is because it was on the podcast. I was watching the post game because I love Kyle Yeomans, best host in the world.
Awesome. Hey, I'm okay with that.
So, present company excluded. So I was watching that, and the thing comes on, and I'm kind of doing something, so I have to listen to it. But I swear to God, I would have turned it off if I wasn't doing something until he was done. I don't want to hear them all year. I don't care. I don't want to hear them anymore. No more. I'm done with both the Joneses. I'm done. They bring my day down when I hear them because I'm like, wow, I fell for this for how many years? It feels like this probably get me in trouble, but whatever. I'm not really a religious person, but I was for my first 18 years. I was religious, real religious, went to church, baptized and everything. And it feels like, when you're younger, you have this really small glass and the liquid from religion fills the glass really big. And as I got older and I met, my best friend's a Muslim and this and that, and he's not going to go to my heaven or whatever, I kind of fell away from organized religion. Not that I don't have faith, but from
Right.
organized religion, because as I got older and my knowledge glass filled, it's still the same amount of water. And I feel like that's Jerry Jones. It took way too long because he's so likable for me to just go, you know what? My glass is too big for your bullshit amount of water, dude. And I'm just sick of it. And a lot of it is his son is worse. It's like I hate it so much. Vikings just blocked a field goal. They didn't return it all the way, but they're like the 30-yard line, but it's still 24-7 Eagles. Jalen Hurts looks great, by the way. Shout out to you. That's one of your guys.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I was going to say maybe after this we could get a score update. I appreciate that, Mike. But to answer the question, we're talking about why does the game plan look different? I think, as far as the game plan goes, the level of competition and personnel affects it, obviously, Mike. But as far as half to half, I feel like our coaching staff has a tendency to go to the well one too many times, and they tend to take their foot off the gas, like you were saying, when they get a lead. And what I didn't like about yesterday is that Cooper Rush already doesn't get that many reps. So then when you even simplify the offense even more, made it that much more vanilla, like you took him out of a groove, you took him out of the groove, and then you found yourself having to try to find your way, make a comeback, but then also you're putting your defense on the field for way too much time. I mean, they were gassed in the fourth quarter. I really thought we were about to lose that game. And
these are human beings. If you don't think the defense is going to be tired if this continues to go, like next Monday night, they get an extra day rest. I get it like that, but I'm talking like week 6. So by the time, say Dak gets back and we're 4-4 or whatever, and if he gets back and you're like, and he gets back and he's scoring 30 points a game, but the defense is shot and the offenses have seen all their game plans and their blitzes and everything because you exposed them out there so much. It's not just game to game. There's longer lasting effects on all these. Yeah. And you're right. Like, get him the reps, let him play. Don't let teams come back in it and be too conservative. Like, make some plays.
And you don't want to ask him to make a comeback either. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and people that, I know a lot of people are like, hey, we won a game with Cooper Rush. Why are you guys being negative like that? Because I got it about Tyler Smith. I was like, oh, he's being fine out there. I go, just because people played above your really low expectations doesn't also mean they were great.
Yeah.
Like, Dallas didn't play great yesterday. In spurts they did, but they weren't great. And their defense was, and because the offense wasn't, and they didn't continue to do their thing, their defense looked bad at the end with a 19-play drive that they couldn't get them off the field. Well, yeah, they were friggin' tired.
Yeah. They made just enough good plays to win the game. I mean, they're one missed play away from losing that game.
Yeah, easily. Kirk Cousins threw another pick.
Lord, somebody tweeted Kirk Cousins meltdowns on like national TV is one of my favorite pastimes.
Yeah, well, they drove all the way down Jesus. They drove all the way down the first drive, and he threw a pick to Slay in the end zone, and then they block a field goal. And it's funny because when he didn't return it for a touchdown, when the guy got caught, I was like, well, this is a field goal at best. And sure enough, it's just one of those you could tell. Minnesota's just not there right now.
Yeah, Philadelphia's, man. I mean, I know it's still early in the season, but they're playing with a purpose, dude.
Yeah, hey, Jalen Hurts plays like that, they're going to win the division. I don't care when Dak comes back. Their team is too good. The worry has always been, can the quarterback play? And right now he's balling.
Yes, sir. And speaking of quarterbacks, Mike, did yesterday's game change your perception of Cooper Rush?
Not yet. Let me see them play the Giants and the Commanders. And if they win those 2 games, then I'll be like, this guy is a really good backup quarterback. Like, he'd have been 4-0 at that point. He already has 2 game-winning drives. Both the games he played, he was not favored in. One was on the road, one was at home. So no matter how you slice it, Cooper Rush has done the job so far. But I want to see him, like, the next game now comes with expectation. Like, this ain't the Bengals. We're going to the Giants. I get the Giants are 2-0. Bengals are 0-2. Nobody would be picking the Giants to beat the Bengals if they played. Even this week 3, we'd all be picking the Bengals to win. Like Giants are 2-0 because they played a Titans team that is not very good right now. And I don't even remember who they played yesterday.
Carolina.
Thank you. So yeah, Dallas with Cooper Rush could Giants beat them? Sure. But I look at it, Daniel Jones is a walking turnover, and what is it? Where it goes back to the mean. He's been good. So average would tell you that he's going to get a couple turnovers against our really good pass rush. Yeah. And I look at the other side, and I'm not scared of their defense. Like our offense isn't going to score a lot because Cooper Rush is just not going to do that. Right. But they should score 20 on the Giants. And if they score 20, the defense should win that game.
Yeah, one thing about that matchup, I am a little concerned that their defense will cause Cooper Rush to commit some turnovers. That's my only concern about that game on Monday night.
They have a nice front. Their defensive front with Azeez Ojulari, Williams, and
the guy Dexter Lawrence
and Kayvon Thibodeau. I don't know if he's back yet.
Oh, he's not? Okay.
I'm not sure. I could be wrong, but
I didn't know he was out. That's my fault.
He got that hit. That low.
Oh, that's right. On week 1, right?
Yeah. And so if he is out, that helps them. But I don't know if their linebacker, like they just had to sign Jalen Smith. Like,
yeah, exactly.
So that's their linebackers are not going to be ones that cover zones very well. So I think Dallas will be able to attack that. And Kellen Moore's offense has always been great versus man coverage. So if they decide, hey, we don't have the linebackers, let's go to man coverage, now we really get some attack. And then Peters is supposed to get some more reps in practice. Gallup could be back. So I want to see what happens. I'm likely going into this game 50-50 confident, which is a lot better than 99.1% confident against the Bengals. So now that expectations are up, let's see if Cooper Rush can come in and play as well as he did against the Bengals against the Giants.
Yeah, and hey, it's a Monday night game, another game where the lights are, the bright lights are on. So we've seen him do it on Sunday night. We've seen him do it on the road, like you said. We've seen him do it at home. Again, in another primetime game, but Monday night games are just different, especially on the road. So it'll be interesting to see. But back to the question here, did this game change my perception of Cooper Rush? No, it did not. I'd like to see it for a whole game because even against Minnesota, I mean, he had for the first half, he didn't really do much. It took like a Cedric Wilson big play. It took a big play from Amar, just some things to happen that for backup quarterbacks don't usually happen in experienced quarterbacks. You kind of, those things are kind of lucky. But yeah, I'd like to see him do it for a whole game or even just 3 quarters. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Is it time? You mentioned Tank earlier, Mike, but his lack of sacks, is that concerning?
I'm starting to lean a little bit towards yes. Everybody knows the dude's an elite run player to this day. He was unbelievable the first 2 weeks. But when you start to see other people feed because of Micah Parsons, but Tank's not getting there. And I get first week, they switched him up and put him over on Wirfs and said, we're going to let our killer, play the against the left tackle who's hurt. And you go up against Wirfs because we know you can stop the run and whatever you could do in pass rush, no big deal. But then second week against Bengals, who no matter what side Parsons is going on is killing. Dorrance Armstrong gets 2. Dexter Fowler's making plays. And you just don't see Tank much at all. Now, maybe his role now is the old school Dorrance Armstrong. Hey, your job is not let them run here. If you get to the quarterback, you get to him. But you're an edge setter over here. Maybe that's his role. But then again, if that's his role, then yes, I'm worried about the sacks because if that's his role, he's shown right now that he's not been getting them with that role. So either way, I'm going to say yes. Does that mean I don't want him on the field or anything, or he's not worth now the the new contract he got. Not at all. The guy's a murderer out there. He's just too good versus the run. And you don't want to leave him one-on-one against bad tackles in the pass rush because he will pressure. But not having sacks through 2 games is surprising when there's, I mean, at one point, 3 dudes were blocking Micah Parsons. Like, at one point, 3 dudes were blocking Tank, but it was one play. It was a mix-up, and it was kind of because of Parsons. So, you know, that kind of stuff happens.
Well, it sounds like Micah's getting the old Tank treatment, man.
Yeah, but what does he do? He still gets 2 sacks.
Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't it the first play of the defensive series? I felt like Lawrence made a good play and he got in the backfield. He had a tackle for loss, or did he get a sack?
Yeah, it's important. He did it against Tampa too. He's as good a run defensive end as there in the league. There's no one that you go, oh, this guy's way better in the run defense than Tank is, DeMarcus Lawrence. Like, he's tier 1 elite run stopper. But you know, we'd like to see him get 8 sacks.
Oh, yeah.
You would like that, especially with all the attention on Parsons.
You know, I'm not really concerned, Mike, just because you mentioned Micah. He got 2 sacks. We saw Dorrance Armstrong get 2 sacks. We've seen everybody else on the defensive line kind of making plays. And like you were saying, Tank is still a really top-notch elite run stopper. So as long as he's still being effective, I'm not really concerned. I mean, of course, I'd like to see him get a sack just for old time's sake, but as long as everybody's eating, I'm not too worried about just, you know, his numbers, honestly.
I'm not concerned as far as overall defense. Hey, he's not getting sacks, so our defense isn't going to be as good. But I'm more concerned about it from a standpoint of the player, like the player's effectiveness on pass rushes. It worries me that he's not able to get home when so much attention is across the line.
Well, how long has he been in the league now? 11 years or?
No, DeMarcus Lawrence, he was
2014.
2014.
Oh, okay. So about 9 years, or no, 8 years, right?
Yeah,
he's got a lot of mileage on him. He's dealt with injuries. I mean, I know he's getting older, you know what I mean? So I'm sure he's bound to slow down, but he still gets those that elite treatment where he's getting double teamed, sometimes triple teamed. So
hell, Tampa Bay just stopped running to him completely. They were we're not going to run at this guy anymore. I don't care if Wirfs is over there. We're not doing it.
Yeah, but shout out to Dorrance Armstrong, man. He looked pretty good yesterday.
2 sacks. He's up in the sack count, which I absolutely do not care about a sack count between Dorrance Armstrong and Randy Gregory, because if Randy Gregory got the coverage that Dorrance Armstrong's getting, on Denver, like that's it. Randy Gregory and the other dude is a Chubb.
Yes.
That's Chubb. Their guys. Like that. Our line has Micah. They don't have a Micah Parsons in Denver. They don't have a Tank Lawrence in Denver, let alone both. So Randy Gregory being there, he could probably have like 4 sacks already on our line. So stop with the comparisons. They're in 2 different spots. Like Dorrance is he's one of my guys. Like I was one of the ones going, I don't care if we get Randy Gregory or not. Bring me back Dorrance Armstrong. Kid's 24 years old. He had his best year with Quinn. Let's go. Let's play. He's an edge setter. He got 6 sacks last year. Like, give him a little bit of money and let's keep him. And I'll still say, like, come on, dude. Like, Randy Gregory was a beast out there. He's a mental case sometimes, but he was a problem pressure player, just period.
Dorrance Armstrong's contract's looking like a steal right now, dude.
Oh, like I said, when I say he's a bad GM, it's because they don't know how to do everything well. Drafting, they're one of the best. Low contract, steal players, they're one of the best. But they just don't know how to do anything else. And that's why you're just good enough.
I think they also pay the right players,
Yeah, but they're bad at
the wrong time, though. Yeah.
They take too long with Dak. They take too long with Tank. They pay Zeke. They pay Jalen. Like, they get killed in trades. Like their trades are always bad. People always are like, they get railroaded in trades, and it's tough sometimes. The proof's in the pudding. 27 years, one factor, bad GM. Everything else has changed.
Absolutely. Well, Mike, we're talking about the defensive line here. Who not named Micah Parsons played the best game?
All right. Who do you think I'm going to pick?
Dorrance.
No. It's not. I love him, but that's not.
Oh, really?
Ohana.
Oh, okay.
My big boy was in there in the backfield a lot. They had that one drive, and in the second half, it opened up a little bit for Joe Mixon, but I think he averaged like 3 to 3.3 yards a carry on the game. Like, they shut it down, and Bohanna is why Ridgeway is on Washington right now. And I did not want to lose. Well, stupidity is why Ridgeway is on Washington right now. The whole whatever. I'm not going to get into it, but Bohanna, he beat out Neville Gallimore to start, and he's showing why. Like he is immovable in there. He is kicking ass.
It's nice. For me, I'm going Dante Fowler, Mike. And it was a tie between Fowler and Armstrong, but the forced fumble is what made the difference. But man, we saw Fowler making plays. He had the pass deflected, and then that forced fumble, that key turnover. Man, I like what I saw from him. Are
you ready for this stat? This is unofficial. This was first thing, but it just shows that he was doing well. That he's even mentioned with them. Yeah. He was tied with Micah Parsons for pass rush win rate.
Oh, wow.
Parsons obviously way more snaps, but in his snaps, he tied in pass rush win rate. So Fowler was balling, and I was on mine. I was like, if he makes team, makes team. I don't really care. No, he's a player. He's one of those guys that when Micah Parsons and them are eating, he gets out there and everybody's like, okay, we don't, we can't really worry about him. We got too much going on over here. We got to leave him one-on-one, block him up, and Fowler's eating him up. And that's great to see because we need that because they're going to try to triple team Parsons and chip him and put a tight end over there and roll away from him and just do everything because he's one of those guys. And if Dante Fowler is eating the other side up, you're going to be in trouble.
Dude, I couldn't believe there was one play where like Micah didn't even get any sort of coverage, and he just ran right past. I guess it was Lyle Collins, straight to Joe Burrow, and he's lucky he got rid of that thing, dude.
That is a Dan Quinn play. He ran. He put, I believe, Joe Barr and LVE or the safety right in the double gap to where it was like, okay, they might be coming. Everybody shift the line, leave the widest guy unblocked, and who they send over to be the widest guy. Micah Parsons, that's Dan Quinn. That's a Dan Quinn pressure. That's a scheme pressure. And it's why people love him so much. He's a great defensive coordinator.
Yes, sir. All right, Mike, talking about Micah Parsons, is there a player in the NFL you would trade Parsons for?
Non-QB, definitely not. No, so let me ask you, what's your answer to that question?
I said no, and I even thought about quarterbacks. And I won't lie, I sat there and I was like, man, Patrick Mahomes, he's somebody I would consider because dude, he's filthy, bro.
Here's my question. Patrick Mahomes for Parsons, straight up. For some reason, Kansas City finds some crazy quarterback that's better than Patrick Mahomes. He's unbelievable. It's like they find this backup, and they're looking to get rid of Patrick Mahomes. And they go, hey, you give us your best player, the guy that we think is the best player in the league, and we'll give you Patrick Mahomes. Hypothetical. Yeah. And then a team goes, well, if you're going to do that, we'll give you 2 first, 2 seconds for Dak. What do you do?
Okay, well, here's my thing. It's like, I don't know how much better our offense would be with Mahomes only because of our offensive coaching staff. You know what I mean? I don't know if how much better Mahomes would be than Dak, but maybe it's just because I'm too high on Dak. But I mean, Patrick Mahomes is clearly the better quarterback. You know what I mean? There's no denying that. But I just really, with this coaching staff and this offensive line playing the way it is, I don't know how much better he would be than Dak. But with that, with the trading Dak for 2 first 2 seconds and then getting a quarterback and then having that draft capital, I mean, you'd be stupid to say no.
Are you stupid? I really like Dak and Parsons. This is a fan. I really like them. Yeah. And I think the reason that I would keep my guys is because I don't want to be connected to the fucking Patrick Mahomes brother.
Oh God. And his wife, dude.
Yeah.
Thankfully, they haven't been doing anything.
I know we're not as good at quarterback, but I'm gonna go ahead and keep Parsons and Dak and let y'all have the brother and everything. And I'll see what, like you said, my coaching staff isn't great anyway. So,
Dude, imagine how much worse our defense would be without Micah, though.
ooh, it would be a solid defense, and that's not good enough.
No, not at all. Yeah, I mean, when you added that caveat, before you added the caveat, my answer was just flat out no. But when you're talking about trading Dak and getting the draft capital and then getting Patrick Mahomes, that's hard, dude.
It's rough, but it ain't gonna happen because KC would not trade Patrick Mahomes, so it doesn't matter really.
No, KC's not stupid. Mike, is Micah Parsons the best defensive player in the NFL?
Yes. And it's the crazy thing about it is it's almost exclusively talent because he just doesn't know yet. It's just stuff he can't know yet in his second year. In his, what is it, his 17th, 18th, 20th game. He's played 20 games. There's just no way. He doesn't know what Tank knows. He doesn't know what TJ Watt knows. He doesn't know what Myles Garrett knows yet. It's just on talent. He's probably the best player in the league right now. Kirk Cousins should have just threw another pick to Slay. Slay dropped it.
Lord. It's crazy to think, I mean, as good as Myles Garrett is, it's like, without question, I'd still rather have Micah Parsons.
Yeah. I mean, I just don't. I think Micah dude, he doesn't even know what he's doing yet. Like, Myles Garrett's been just a pass rusher for like the last 10 years or whatever, from college and games and everything. This guy's like been linebacker, playing that, doing that coverage, this and that. And it's just he's unbelievable. Like,
unicorn, crazy. Man.
There's a reason that he has broken the record for most sacks through your first 18 games. Like, he's just a monster.
Yeah, but was it Mark? Shout out to Mark D's Corner, I believe he's the one who shared that stack, or he shared a stat about him and oh god, what is the all-time
LT?
LT, yeah,
Lawrence Taylor,
yeah. So was that the record he broke, or was he just comparing their first was it 17 games or?
Yeah, he compared their first 17 games. Well, he compared their first 2 seasons.
Yeah.
But then afterwards was like, now remember, Micah's only in the second game of his season. He's still got 15 more. It was Aldon Smith's record that he broke. Aldon Smith had 16 and a half sacks through 18 games. Parsons got 17.
Good, man. Aldon Smith could have been so filthy, dude.
I know. And that's why a lot of guys on that list were like great, but not great for a long time. So that's why I'm like, he's still got to use up here because eventually it can't be all about talent. People will figure it out. So you got to put both together. And I think he will. He's shown he's just a beast.
Right. All right, Mike, here we are with Mike's views from the sidelines. Tell me, what did you learn about Kellen Moore in week 2?
He can be good even with bad quarterback play and creative if he's creative. Like, if he's allowed to be creative and use motion and sweeps and do the things modern NFL offenses do, he could be really good. They don't do it. I feel like other offenses are always trying to do that. And then I hear Stephen Jones talking about an offensive coordinator's job is to get to 3rd and short. And I'm like,
oh, Lord. He said that?
Swear. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
That's what he said about, and he's in the game plan meetings. If you think your offensive coordinator's job is to get you to 3rd down, I don't care if it's 3rd and 1. You got a problem because in the league, the best offenses go 60% on 3rd down. So you're basically saying 4 out of every 10 drives, your offensive coordinator is going to fail. Like, no, your offensive coordinator's job is to score points.
Yeah.
It don't matter if he does it on 1st down or deep pass, or if he has to do it on 3rd and 10. Like, it's infuriating, and that thought process is put into the game planning, and it's just, it makes me want to punch myself in the face.
What were your thoughts on Mike McCarthy? I guess if you want to call it this, calling out Kellen Moore.
Good for him. Good. Do what you got to do. Get your guy to be more creative, or make sure it's known like, hey, this is more in the Joneses. Don't put this shit on me. I'm trying to get, I think Mike McCarthy's a good coach. I know I'm in the minority there. I like him. Not that I think Sean Payton's better. I know people say they have the same resume, one ring, great quarterbacks and everything, but Sean Payton should have went a few times to the Super Bowl. There was some calls and some crazy plays and this and that, so I don't think they're the same, but Mike McCarthy's a damn good coach, and he's good with injuries. When he won his Super Bowl, his team was injured all across the board. In Green Bay, he had to play with an offensive line that was never healthy. And I think he does a good job with injuries. I think he does a good job allowing his staff to do what they need to do. But if they're fucking up, then tell them. Well, my job is to tell you, hey, you're fucking up.
Yeah. Yeah. And another thing about McCarthy, he finds a way to, like you were saying, he's good with guys get injured. He's good at finding replacements that are suitable, or if not, even sometimes better.
Yep.
All right, Mike, here we are with one word. And this week we're going to, using one word, describe Cooper Rush's performance.
Sufficient.
Hey, there you go. I like that.
It was sufficient. It did enough to win, and that's all. And he didn't lose the game. So
yeah,
I think that's
at first I had inspiring, but I want to change it. I'm going to say encouraging, because he had a bad second half. Maybe that's not all his fault, obviously, but I want to see him do it for an entire game, at least 3 quarters, like I said earlier. But I was encouraged by him in the first half.
Yeah, I agree. And to win the game at the end. Yep.
Exactly. All right, Mike, here we are with top 5 this week. And this week's topic is ice cream flavors. And it's funny because last night I was talking to my boy Prescott. Shout out to Prescott. I was talking to him on the phone, and on Sundays, that's kind of like my cheat day where I have sweets or whatever. And I treated myself to some ice cream. And I had Bluebell's new flavor. It's a salted caramel brownie. Do you eat a lot of Bluebell ice cream?
No, I can't. I'm diabetic, man,
right?
I'm diabetic, so my ice cream is almost always exclusively what's the new flavor Ben & Jerry has.
Yeah.
All 5 of mine are Ben & Jerry's ice creams.
I am mad at you.
When I can eat them, I typically try whatever's new that I haven't tried, and I take a couple bites of it, and then I have to give it to somebody else. But I love Ben & Jerry's ice cream.
Shout out to our guy Rich Mileto. He said he doesn't have a lot of Bluebell in his stores where he lives, but do you see Bluebell a lot in your grocery stores?
Not me. I'm Tillamook's there. Dryers is there.
Okay. Yeah.
And then there's Ben & Jerry's. There's some Baskin Robbins and some cheaper,
Baskin Robbins is fire too, bro.
Yeah, it is.
All right, Mike, start us off. What's number 5 on your list?
Americone Dream.
Hey, that's a good one, dude.
Waffle cone dipped in chocolate, vanilla ice cream, caramel bomb.
Can't go wrong.
Yeah, I haven't had it in a couple years, but every time I see it, I'm like, man, I love that ice cream. I wish I could have it.
The first time I ever tried that ice cream was Haagen-Dazs's version. It's like, I guess it's called caramel cone is what it's called. But man, that flavor's so good, dude. It's genius to have the cone mixed in with the ice cream, dude, because ice cream in a cone, bro. Oh my God, dude.
Bro, texture.
Yes.
Gotta have texture.
Yes, sir. All right, Mike, number 5 on my list, I'm going with Ben & Jerry's as well. I'm going with Chubby Hubby. And what it is, it's vanilla ice cream with chocolate covered peanut butter pretzels.
Yeah.
Have you had it?
Oh, you won't find a Ben & Jerry's that I ain't had. I try every single one. I just don't have a lot of it. But that is a good one. I have no issue with that on the list. That is not a Red Baron quality. You have nailed. You're much better this week.
Guys, it sounds plain, but if you ever see it in the store and you're craving something different, try Chubby Hubby for real.
It is. It's good.
All right, number 4 on my list. I'm going back to the Ben & Jerry's. Well, sir, Out of This World. It's
Out of This World.
Yes.
That's my 4.
Oh, really?
Hey. Cheers to us.
Is it like oatmeal ice cream, right? With like chocolate chip oatmeal cookie chunks, and what's the swirl? Is it caramel or what is it? I
There's
can't remember.
the cookie is the swirl.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I thought there was chunks, but it's a swirl.
I think it's a swirl in there, and then there's like chocolate chunks. If I remember, you have to remember.
Oh, that's what it is. The chocolate
Yeah,
chunks. That's right. That's right.
I only get these a little bit. Like I think I've had that one 2 times, and I remember that I was like, "Oh my god, this is so." So I believe it's like a cinnamon ice cream, and it has the oat cookie swirl, and then like chocolate chunks. I
Okay,
believe
here,
that's it.
buttery brown sugar ice cream with
Brown
fudge
sugar.
flakes and oatmeal cinnamon cookie swirls. I don't ever see it in the store, dude, but every time when I do see it, I always get it.
I see it all the time, and it's like torture. It's like I live in hell, and like I died, and the devil's like,
Yeah.
"Look at that oat of this world, fatty. You can't have it."
Oh man, dude, it's so freaking good. I love oatmeal anyway, and I love oatmeal chocolate chip cookies. But man, that ice cream, dude, oh my god, bro.
So good. Well, I could go right to 3 then.
Yeah, there you go.
And we're going Ben and Jerry's, and it's similar, but it's a gimme some mo, and it's gimme some s'mores. You know, it's a
Okay.
s'mores flavored.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's a maybe that's the cinnamon ice cream, but it's like a vanilla type ice cream that has marshmallow swirl in it, and then it has graham crackers and chocolate chunks, and gimme s'more is like, I love s'more. I was telling y'all earlier about the cereal that I got just because it was graham crackers, cinnamon toast crunch, and I was like, oh, I got to try it, graham cracker. So good, dude. Definitely highly recommend that one.
Yeah, toasted marshmallow ice cream with chocolate cookie swirls, graham cracker swirls, and fudge flakes. My goodness, bro.
Bro, all day. Just try it.
Dude. I'm gonna have to try that. Yeah, I love s'mores. I mean, s'mores are okay. I actually think they're kind of overrated. I mean, I think it's more of a nostalgia thing, but that sounds fire though.
Chocolate marshmallows, graham crackers, possibly my favorite combination. I just don't like to make them. So I like it in, like, they have s'mores cereal, which is but I like the graham cracker, and then s'mores ice cream. I like that. So yeah, I love it.
Yeah. For number 3 on my list, Mike, I'm going with Spumoni, and I've only seen it with Dreyer's ice cream. I know it's more of like a gelato thing, but what it is, it's cherry ice cream with it's like a Neapolitan rather, but it's cherry ice cream with pistachio ice cream and chocolate. Dude, if you ever see that, bro, I don't know if you've ever had it, but
I have not, but that is an incredible combination. Man, I eat the pistachio cherry all day.
Pistachio.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. That's not on my list, but it is really good.
And it doesn't sound like anything special, man, but my God, it's so creamy, smooth, and then those little bites of pistachio. Oh my God, bro.
It's unbelievable.
Yes, sir. But yeah, if you ever see Spumoni of like any brand, you got to try it. It's unbelievable. I found out about it one time, and I told my wife about it. She's like, yeah, we should try that. We went to the store that day. We found it. We just happened to find like a half gallon, ran through it. We've never seen it in the store again.
I've never seen that. So yeah, I got to try that, because I know the regular Napoleon's everywhere, but I got to try that. Pistachio and cherry. Yeah, give me.
Oh, so good. Number 2 on my list, Mike, I'm sure you're familiar with this one. Ben and Jerry's Everything But The.
Oh, yeah. Of course. Is that a chocolate ice cream?
Yeah, it is. It's chocolate and vanilla ice cream, and then any candy you can think of. I mean, it's got little pieces of Heath bar. It's got chocolate-covered almonds. It's got peanut butter cups, and like not just like small peanut butter cups, but like they took like regular size and smashed them up, dude. Oh my God, it's got so many chunks and flavors.
It's so good. God,
so good. I remember.
I hate diabetes.
Yeah, that does suck, dude.
I hate it. And fat. Diabetes, and I'm fat. So it's like God. Why does ice cream have to exist? It's so mean.
It's so mean, but man, it's such a treat too.
So all right, Mike, what's number 2 on your list?
Yeah. Number 2.
My 2 and 1 are absolutely interchangeable. I'll eat them anytime. I don't care. So I just went with the Chunky Monkeys 2.
I almost had that on my list, dude.
Bro. But another thing that I love, banana flavored ice cream. So good. And then it's got chocolate and walnuts. And that's it. Basic. But banana and chocolate together are like
dude,
as magic as humanly possible. And then the crunch of walnuts, like the texture.
Yes.
The
perfect combination, dude.
Oh, it's so good. And then my top one is it's basic, but Ben and Jerry's does it to a level that's incredible. It's the mint cookie. It's like cookies and cream, but in mint ice cream. And it reminds me of It's, which are like one of my favorite things ever. But my favorite all-time ice cream is cookies and cream. But their mint one, it just adds something that's like
kind of like a little pint of Thin Mints, right?
Yes, but like with Oreos. And
oh my God.
Yeah, it's mint ice cream with Oreos instead of chocolate chips. And it is, dude, and they put fat chunks in there. Like
I'm not a real big fan of mint chocolate chip ice cream. My wife loves it. That's like her favorite shake, but mint ice cream, like done by Ben and Jerry with Oreo cookies, that sounds amazing,
bro. It's all day. Like, and the funny thing is, I never really liked mint ice cream. I was like, nah, I don't need the mint flavor in my ice cream. I'll just eat chocolate chip or cookies and cream. And then my little brother was like, dude, you just try the Ben and Jerry's one. Trust me. It's like, you try everything. Why won't you just try this? Because that was the one flavor I never tried. Because I'm like, I don't want mint. And now it's my favorite one. I'm like, what the fuck was I doing for a decade? Before I knew I was diabetic, I was ruining it when I could have had it.
All right, Mike, number 1 on my list. I think you'd enjoy this. Hopefully, if next time you go to the grocery store, maybe you can try it. They'll have like a pint of it. But number 1, shout out to Prescott. I think he'd agree with me here. Bluebell's banana pudding, banana ice cream, swirled with like a Cool Whip type swirl, and a lot of chunks of Nilla wafers, dude.
Bro, I've never had that, but I would destroy. We all know my affinity with banana pudding.
Don't tell your dad.
No, don't tell my dad. I'm gonna share that banana pudding with somebody, but it's gonna be him.
Yeah, I don't know if you're going to the store this week, man, but go down the ice cream aisle and see if you find it, bro. Please get it, dude.
I would have. If that existed here in California, I'd already found that. Banana.
Oh yeah, you said you don't see a lot of Bluebell. Oh, dude, I would be willing to send you a pint. I don't know how to go about doing that, but I would send you like a pint or even a gallon, bro, just so you can try it.
My birthday is December 24th, and if there is a decently cheap way to do that, I highly recommend that as my gift.
Because Rich was saying it would cost him like $60.
Oh no, don't do that.
Yeah, so I don't know how I go about doing that, but if I can find a way to do it, then I'm going to.
No, we're talking like $20. That's about what I'm worth for a gift.
Stop, Mike. Matt, I wasn't expecting to discuss a victory, but here we are. We're talking about victories. We're talking about ice cream. It's a good day, sir.
Yeah, can't complain, man. I love it. And just about an hour. Let's get out of here. We made it an hour, barely over.
Yes, sir. Let's try to catch the end of those games before we do. Remind the people they can find you on Twitter, sir.
The games are already over, but it's CD Piglet. It's letter C, letter D, Piglet. Nice and easy.
Guys, I'm Paul Ryan. You can find me on Twitter at Paul_Ryan15. We appreciate you joining us, and we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah.